There were about a dozen of them huddled in front of me, writhing together like snakes in a pit. By the light of my plasma lantern, their collective breaths rose like smoke against the cold. They all watched me quietly, waiting to see if I would take the bait. Of course I would bite. I'd run out of things to talk about. "Tell us a story, Gilly." The platoon always put me on what they called brat duty. I didn't like the term or the job, but I was good with kids, so it was my duty to babysit while Colonel Calhoun and the others met with the town's adults to discuss business. Calhoun called it business. I called it a shakedown, but only to myself. Dragon work accounted for maybe 10% of what we did every day. Mostly we just roamed from settlement to settlement collecting our dues. The kids in this town ranged in ages from as young as 4 all the way up to 10 or 12. They all looked like they could use a bath, but none of them wore rags or went barefoot. It may have been the apocalypse, but these were still American kids. No matter the hardships they endured on a day-to-day basis, their parents would have rather had their eyes gouged out by rates than to have their kids go without a t-shirt and sneakers. The kid closest to me, a little girl who told me her name was Sequoia, the one who'd asked for a story, was wearing a pair of green Jessen Dragon stompers. The shoes had to be older than she was. I knew because I used to have a pair myself when they first came out in stores. They were manufactured for only a year in 2119 and were quickly pulled from stock after a public outcry claimed an insensitivity to the dragon problem. Everything was second or third hand nowadays. Sequoia's parents either found the Jessens in a dump or had saved their own original pair, thinking of the child they would have one day and what they'd wear when society tanked.